Well, check it out. This tape going to YouTube, right? The next one we're gonna cut it, right? Because we gonna waste no time. We said somewhere in Jersey, right? So now at that point, right? The tuberculosis, right? Or Spanish flu when my dad used to run, right? It was sitting in England. It called the Spanish flu, but it wiped out the whole Virgin Island, right? But what happened to the Virgin Island? We still own it from England, because we left the oil there in St. Croix, basically, right? So we left it there. So years from now, you know how it is. My dad would prosper when he used to work. He worked there for years, right? But he knew it too, because everybody knows from England. Well, what happened is, you know how it is, they whack them. And what you got? Drug dealers controlling housing with clean women running around, right? Made of affordable housing, basically, in New York, right? You know what I'm saying? So now, how do a drug dealer have a clean woman running food stamp? What happened is years from now, Puerto Ricans sitting there with 4 million people in New York and American black from Bed-Stuy, right? So evidently, what country usually gonna rob a food stamp system? Way impossible, is it? Right? So evidently, you know, if you rob a system, you're going to jail. You got the food stamp system. What happened at that point? Because, you know, they let the Caribbean rob the shit, right? Okay, what country you gonna go in there and rob a food stamp system? It's no way, right? So now, and you know, they sell drugs, got clean women that connect to food stamps. So evidently, what happened to Puerto Rico all these years? They don't shut the border. It's a little trick. One thing about HIV, right? Like my dad is a doctor. I don't took him down on the Dre train yesterday, and the same thing. I said HIV is connected to what? Flies. You see, the problem is, right? The same people that, it got somebody that put up video when I was sitting in the neighborhood. They used to walk by. The one in the same video talking about they're a drug addict and HIV in Puerto Rico. And I'm looking at these two people for a whole year. And I said, you know what? These are the same people who was sitting on the video that put it in Puerto Rico. You know how it is, right? So evidently, what happened is the people that came down from New York that run the system, you know, that stole the food stamp, that bought Florida houses down in Fort Lauderdale and Pompano, right? They moved down there, and everybody know my dad that run a hospital. Oh, trust me, they don't look at him because they came up a prospector and they retired. This is like 96, 97, around there with immigration. So basically at that point, they moved down there. What happened is, you know how it is when you move in a community, but you're never from there, right? You're never from there, right? So they moved smack right into the community. And everybody looking at them, right? Because they know a $40,000 house, they had it in the paper, right? $40,000 house, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, you know, where everybody from New York that robbed the system, the food stamp system with the drug dealing, immigration. So they smack right down in those areas. What happened at that point? And in 94, 95, they start deporting them, right? Because it's like you moved somewhere, you never went to school, and everybody looking at you, and they call it swampland. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you rob the system, move down there. So when they move down there, it go right into immigration, basically, right? And you know the deal, the person that sit there with the drugs, right? You know, selling drugs, right? Like they're moving a company but never went to high school there, bought a $50,000 house. I could cover mine because guess what? My dad run a hospital, right? And billing the fucking dollars out of England, I could have covered my drug money, but I never sold. I just know the story very well. So they've done moved down there. And everybody looking at their ass. That's lead to the robbery. That's lead to people get deported. So, plus Colombian drug lord, right? It's not his real name. Is not Escobar. We're trying to tell a person, no, it's not his real name. It's no Wayne Hell. He's a fucking general that run Colombia, but it's not his real name. What happened to Castro? Castro got killed. No, Castro died, but it was sitting where? In Roosevelt, right? Because the journalism had to keep it quiet. That's when I got the news about 82. And I'm looking at this. I said, Costco died, huh? Right? Because the two journalism that know Costco died got killed. Basically. Right? So now they're sitting there they cover it up. Cuban. So evidently they're sitting there. That escalate the flow of the drug thing. Right? Because you got a lot of people that retire, that moved there from New York. They know the issue with my dad, how he took his job. And I'm looking at this, right? They know the issue when they rip off my dad with his pension and everything, because we was going back to home to England. So they're sitting there, right? And that escalate the drugs, them getting people deported. When people get deported, they went to Puerto Rico. Can't go back to what? To Colombia. You know why? Escobar sitting there. They don't send a United States military to kill a guy, right? A general. But it's not his real name, though. Like I said, the people that come in Brooklyn now, they don't cover up the bullshit story for years, right? But it's not his real name, the one that move in. So when they don't kill him, right, what happened is they moved to Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? You got Dominican move there. They escalate the war at that point, right? Because that's where the all video done toast up. They escalate the war in Puerto Rico real bad, right? The drug war, because ain't nobody gonna take drug money and move back. You got to be crazy. You're not moving by the Colombia. So they drop them there by the Virgin Island, right? And they're sitting there for years. You know how you met a girl, you're hanging out, right? So now you got the two video people I seen in Brooklyn every time I walk by in Bedford. And I said, damn, these people was in the same video selling the HIV. But what happened is, right? So at that point, you got the people running up north, jumping into Nostrand. If you sell drugs and you connect to housing, of course, you're going to get over, right? Drug dealers connect to housing, immigration. Get a clean woman. Everybody knows if you go to college, they never did nothing for a fucking committee any fucking way. What up, right? Then you got, what do you call that? Pinky taking picture, moving there too, right? Okay then. So evidently when they run there, I'm looking at this, right? And when everybody came up, they was like looking for me. But the point is, somebody fucked up my face, because that's what they came for. Because they figured, what they don't do, they run into the people, the nurses, and then that the hospital might run and prosper. Down in Florida, looking at their ass, so military did, exactly what you don't did, rob the system. So their pension down in New York started get affected. You know what I'm saying? So now they got it. Everybody that run from New York, that stole from the city, don't get deported, I don't get killed. Or either sitting in Puerto Rico. It's none down in Florida, trust me. Right? So now, the same people that jump into Puerto Rico, right, with the hurricane, well, it's all rich people there with military boats. They don't need it 50, 60. They don't toss up the hurricane with electric. Don't knock out the boats then, right? One thing about Puerto Rico, right? This is how you could tell with HIV. When you turn off the friggin' air conditioner, the flies is attracted to dead blood. That's the main idea, right? It is attracted to dead blood. It's like bacteria will eat you up, right? So it's no electricity. So the new cast ain't got no video of it when it came back. And I'm looking at their ass. That was like 3 weeks ago in a hurricane. I don't know what they're up to. Because I know basically when you cut off the electricity shit, right? It's the HIV, the flies is connected to the HIV basically. And they would definitely eat your blood up. Do you understand? They would eat your blood up. So when they turn off the power, right? You see, one thing about the HIV, it kill out the whole VI. It ain't a United States don't really own it, the Virgin Islands. It just kill them out, right? Because it's like I say, it's a cold war. Cold disease my dad was working on. He knew it very well for me. I know it too. So evidently, when they kill them out, right? They don't run off the, you know what I'm saying? Kill them out, right? So now when they're sitting in Puerto Rico, the hurricane knocked down the air conditioner. What? From there, the flies are sitting there. That's what was tell a homeboy, where's the video at? I said the fly, nigga, that, connect to dead carcass. You know how it is, you watch Geographic movie and there's a dead animal in the desert where they're attracted to the blood, the flies them, right? It's like a shark. So I said that's why they never came up with a video. Do you understand?